Welcome, my dear friends. Welcome to this relationship to transformation. My name is Drake, and this is Touching the Edge, and I'm so delighted to be here with you today. I'm delighted to be here with you because this life is about transformation. You know, it's funny to me when you think about what it means to transform and metaphors for transformation, obvious ones like, for instance, the metaphor between the caterpillar and the butterfly. You wonder if the caterpillar really understands what's happening, or if it's something that feels uncomfortable or even frightening as it becomes to become the butterfly. That's what transformation is. It's this idea of going from going from darkness into light, coming into that technicolor reality where we become more authentically ourselves. In that relationship to becoming authentically ourselves, we find that it's a revelation not just to the world, but to we ourselves. So recognizing it and finding ways to be in flow. When we are in flow, we are flowing with transformation. Transformation is something that's going to happen regardless if we like it or not. We are here to transform. And yet if we relax into it, if we surrender to it, we actually can swim with the flow of that transformation and find the very best that we have to offer. One of the things that I think is really a great tool is to be aware of the law of seven. So the law of seven really tells us that every 7 years we have a transformation. 7, 14, 21, 28, all the way up, every 7 years. It's a repetitive cycle, and so in the 5th year of that cycle, we tend to have a crisis. And crisis just means change. We as human beings don't like change, so we think of it as something that's bad. But this crisis just means change. So in the 5th year, there's a change. And at that point, that crisis, we need to apply lessons to the situation. And what lessons that we tend to want to apply are the ones that we know from our past. When we come to this crisis, who we perceive ourselves to be is not who we are. We are tending to think of ourselves as to who we used to be rather than who we are now. But this crisis needs our new self. It needs innovation. It needs a blend of experience, and yet it also needs ideas that we have never approached before. So that's the process, and it happens every 7 years. So the two biggest cycle points are supposedly the age of 28, which I actually think is the threshold of adulthood, and 49, which is the threshold of middle age. And so in that 28 one, the 5th year of that cycle is 26. And so if you look back at your life right around that age, you're going to find that you went through some sort of crisis during that time. Now, what happens at that age, 26, is people often try to do things the way they used to do. They may, drink or have some of the sort of patterns that they used to have. They used to have fun, and yet it doesn't bring fun anymore. In fact, people end up in trying to do more of what they used to do, throwing themselves more deeply into that crisis, ending up in rehab, or, even like what they call the 27 Club. A lot of people pass away right around that age. So we want to be aware of this. So that 6th year we're coping with the crisis. 7th year is the year of the Phoenix, in which we transform and become something new and start over again in that new year. So take a look at yourself. Where are you at this point of your age? Where are you at in this point of the cycles? Be aware that if you're anywhere near that crisis point, it's really about getting really, really present and recognizing that the point of power is right now. Don't try to live into who you used to be. Lean into who you're becoming. And when you are leaning into who you're becoming, you find that the transformation is an enjoyment. This transformation is actually a statement of joy, which is you becoming your authentic self. So thank you so much for joining. Please let other people know about these videos. Please join these circles, like the videos, subscribe, and help us to grow these healing circles. I'm going to ring the bell. I'm going to ask you to listen carefully. Here we go. Surrendering to the cycles of our life is actually a celebration of our life. Thank you so much for joining. I bring my hands together and I bow to you, my friend. Thank you so much. Namaste.